Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Wow, okay, man. This is really quiet then. Okay. Yo, yo, yo. Hello, everyone. I couldn't really focus on anything today. And I don't really have that much work I can do right now. And rather than just do nothing, I thought I would provide some light entertainment today for the viewers out there. Actually, you know, racing games lately have become one of my favorite genres. Like, they've always been kind of in the background, my favorite genre, or one of my favorite genres, but just lately, I play them all the time. Is it super, like, half speed for you guys? Yeah, it is. Let's see if I can fix that. Da, 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 da. Why is it not letting me do 60? 60 at. Let's try 48 and see if that fixes it, and I doubt it will. Forza Horizon 3, though, is the game that just keeps on giving. I've been playing this game. Oh, that did fix it. And then what about 72? Does 72 work? I'm not sure why it's not giving me the option for 60. But I've been playing this game since 2016, pretty much the weekend that it came out. I had heard like some rumblings about the game on some forums, and I'm like, oh man, Forza Horizon 2 is so good. And I was looking at it, it does look really fun. And the graphics, even now, this game came out in 2016, and it still looks absolutely incredible. Okay, that looks good. I guess 144 is that's broken. I think I like this one better than the fourth game. The fourth game, I just didn't like the map as much. There was a lot of cool aspects that were better. Well, the only one I can really think of is that you could smash through stone walls and the stones would go flying everywhere. That was fun. Other than that, I like this map way better. Yeah, this is Forza Horizon 3. Which actually just got delisted from the stores recently. I assume it's because of music licensing. I actually didn't look that up, but all racing games seem to get delisted because of music licensing. I bought all the DLC before I did, so the game is more or less complete. I really wish I had bought Sega Rally Revo before that got delisted on Steam. Oh, the voice is too quiet? Let's see if I can fix that. Oh, wow, the game is way too loud. Okay, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, let me know if that fixed it. Check, check, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Okay, testing, testing, 1, 2. Let me know if it sounds better or worse or the same. We'll just just to be safe, let's do this. Bring that down another 3. Racing games for me are like the ultimate zone out game. I could just play them for literal hours doing nothing. Just driving on the roads. And in fact, you know what? We need to we get our own music going here. Let's do... What should we do? I was going to make a racing playlist. Never got around to doing it. Oh, let's do this. I think that'll work. Yeah. It's really hard to focus. Yesterday was way worse than today. Today I've been able to focus a little more, but I also don't have anything I can do right now. I'm waiting on Andrew to do the narration, and I imagine Andrew's not able to do the narration right now. So, let me know if this music gets too loud, but we'll try this. But until he finishes the narration, there's not too much we can do. And I suppose I could do like the shout outs and stuff, but that's okay. We'll do this. How many people are watching? 27. Man, come on, man. That's a whole Zumba class right there. A big Zumba class. Although that used to not be super big. When our studio was bigger and had more people, a 27-person class was big, but it certainly wasn't like super big. It's like a DBZ fight. Ah! Okay, now I can't hear the music. Let me turn this up and see what happens. Okay, that should be good. Man, this song is jamming. Am I getting a PS5, Xbox X, or both? Probably both. But which one I get first depends on which one is available first. So actually, I just kind of made this decision yesterday, and I haven't fully committed to it yet. But I think that I'm going to, until the end of the year, I'm going to try to not spend any extraneous money. So just, I'm going to try to, you know, only buy things I need and food and hold off on buying fun stuff. The only exception I'm making is the new consoles, which is $500 worth of new stuff. But I just wanted to do a little bit of money saving through the end of the year. Especially because, well, not especially, but just, I haven't been buying too much stuff lately, but I did just get that new Sony ZV-1 camera, which that was just for myself. That wasn't for Adventure Archives, so. But PS5 or Xbox One X, Xbox X, man, the names, why did they not just switch over? They should have just called it Xbox 5. Xbox 5 and Xbox 5 Pro. They would have been much better served by that. The series name is just weird. It was like when Apple came out with their new watches and they called the highest one like the Watch Edition. I'm like, is that how you use the word edition? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the Watch Edition. You mean the Edition Edition? It's very weird. Like the X series would make a little bit more sense, but that would have to have multiple versions of the console that are at the X level. So I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how those words work. But anyway, whichever one is readily available first, I will get first. Because I want both. The big benefits with the Xbox is that the backwards compatibility is awesome. Which my Xbox One X kind of already does most of that stuff, but it's kind of just like that part of me that wants new technology and wants the best. That's the part that appeals to me about the Series X for all the backwards compatibility stuff. But as far as like actual next-gen features, neither console is exciting me. The PlayStation 5 controller, that's very exciting. Like those adaptive triggers, why has somebody not done that before? That is such a great idea, putting resistive motors on the triggers so that you can change like if you guys haven't heard of it, it's like the triggers, right? They're analog, but they have actual motors in them that will prevent you, or that can put resistance on how hard it is to press. And I haven't used that myself, obviously, but I've heard people talk about it, and it just sounds like such a cool feature. But and games-wise, for both systems, there's not a single next-gen game that I even know about, A, and B, that I can't get on PC. So let me explain. All the next-gen games, like, I guess there's... The only one I'm really looking at right now is Dirt 5. And it's like, oh, cool, you can do 120 frames per second on the next-gen versions. But you need an HDMI 2.1 TV, which is another thing I want. I want to get one of those LG OLEDs. The problem is, man, I got so many thoughts. Well, first, let me finish that other thought up first. The 120 frames per second, that's super cool, but you need that HDMI 2.1 TV, and I can do all of that on my computer already. The thing is, I don't like playing games on my computer. I'm actually playing on my computer right now. But that's because I'm streaming. I would have to move the computer to the other room to play on the TV, but... The main reason I don't like playing on the computer is it's just not a turnkey experience. It's close. But until there is a point where I can turn on a computer with a controller and get into the games without using a mouse or a keyboard ever, it's just never going to have that same appeal to me as consoles do, where I sit on the couch, I pick up the controller, and then I'm playing. And I can control everything, and everything I'm able to do can be done with the controller. That seems like a small nitpick, but I mean, it is. But it's still a hurdle that I can't get over. Anyways, but the other hurdle for playing 120 frames per second on a console is I got to get a HDMI 2.1 TV. And if I'm going to get an HDMI 2.1 TV, I'm going to get an LG OLED, and I'm getting 65 inches. Because 55 inches, like, this is a first world problem. Like, let me preface everything I say today that this is all first world. If I'm talking about video games, it's first world, okay? So I'm not complaining. I'm just stating the facts. That 55 inches isn't big enough for my living room. It's too far away. I mean, it's fine, and I can put a seat closer and everything, but if I'm going to spend that much money on a TV, I'm going to get a 65-inch TV. There's no reason for me to skimp out on that when I'm already spending that much money, you know? So anyway, if I get one of the new consoles, I kind of feel like, oh, well, I need to get a new TV. So then you're spending $500 for a console, and then you're spending $1,800, well, effectively $2,000 for a HDMI 2.1 OLED. That's 65 inches, so... Anyways, long story short, I'm not in any hurry to get any of the new consoles because it's just a fun new thing. There's no games that I'm like dying to play. Dirt 5 is like the closest thing to that, and I'm not dying to play that. I'm actually perfectly content playing Forza Horizon 3 and 4 for many more years to come, but Dirt 5 does look really fun. And as I mentioned earlier, I can get it on PC. So that's a very long answer to, am I getting one of the new consoles or both? Given enough time, yes, I'm getting both. In the near term, I'm not getting either. But like if I happen to be on Amazon and one of them is in stock, you know, that Amazon credit card is 5% back. And it's a credit card. So will I be able to resist? Probably not. Do I need either of those consoles? No, absolutely not. I'm very well served gaming-wise with everything that I have right now. Including new games. Like with the PC, there's, except for PlayStation console exclusives, there's nothing I can't play on PC because all the Xbox console exclusives also come to PC now. And lots of times they come on Game Pass, so I don't even need to pay for them. I have Game Pass until August of next year. Already paid up. Like, they had this deal where you could automatically upgrade to Game Pass Ultimate if you had gold. So I bought like a year or two of gold, and then I got upgraded, or I don't remember how it worked. But in any case, I got Game Pass until then. Okay, anyway. Do I find myself paying close attention to background music in movies and TV shows? Yes and no. It really depends on how... I will always notice a good song. Like if they're, especially theme songs, like my mom's always watching these period shows, like your Poldarks, your Downton Abbeys, any show that has a British accent, basically. She watches those shows. And sometimes, man, they'll have such good music. And what's the one that has a really good theme song? Well, Downton Abbey, they have a really good melody that they play over and over and over again. That's great. But what's the other one? There's another one that has a great one. But anyways, I'll hear that in the background. I'm like, oh, what is that? Oh, I got to hear that. When I'm watching movies and TV shows myself personally, I definitely pay attention to that. But it, like I said, it depends on how much the music is standing out. Like so much of movie and TV show music is so atmospheric that it's not really like melody driven or anything to where you really pay a lot of attention to it or it really stands out. It's just you hear it, you know? So yeah, there's instances where I do. There's instances where it depends on the type of music, yeah, because lots of music just lends itself well to blending into the background, and I don't really pay attention to it. And then there's some shows that don't even have music. Like Better Call Saul, it does have music. And when they play the music, it really makes a difference. And it's lots of times licensed stuff, and you're like, oh, this is such a great scene. And they'll do like a little montage. But that's the one I just did, right? Or is this the one? Okay, that's the one. Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't finished all these exhibitions yet. But yeah, when they play songs in there, it's great. Patrick, I should really make a video on what we all do for a living. Andrew and I more or less make videos full-time now. We make a very close to minimum wage or less, probably less than minimum wage, making videos. And Brian works like in IT or something, and Thomas some sort of business thing. I don't know actually what he does. I'm sure he spends lots of time on the phone in meetings, and then he's like procurement or something. I don't know what he does. But the answer is basically Brian and Thomas have real jobs. Me and Andrew are 2020 content creators. Which I suppose is a real job too. It's just like, when you say real job, everybody knows what you mean. We don't have real jobs. But it is, let me tell you, it is full-time work. Today notwithstanding. There are days like today where it's like, well, am I going to be playing this video game online? But, I mean, this is technically part of work, too, because it is like I'm making content for people to view. Whether I make any money off of it or not is a whole nother question. Sometimes these live streams, they can get some good ad money. Like, when I say good, I mean, like, oh, it can make, like, up to $10, like $5 to $10. And you're like, oh, not bad for ad revenue. But I never expect that from live streams. Speaking of which, if I could actually do vlogs daily, the view counts now are high enough that could be not a full-time job, like money-wise, but that could be some substantial side income if I actually did daily vlogs. But I can't do daily. I don't know how I ever did daily. That speaks to two things. One, it speaks to nobody can sustain a daily vlog. I'm sure there are people who have, but if you do it in my style, you cannot sustain that. I'm sure there are some outliers. But if even somebody like Casey Neistat, outlier of the outliers, he can't sustain it, I don't know who would be able to. Like, who would be able to sustain that rigorous of a schedule where you're filming a substantial amount of stuff all day, every day, and then you edit in the morning, and then you film again all day throughout the day. Like, I think that's the thing, is that editing, that's the invisible thing that looks like it doesn't take any work or take any amount of time. That's like the biggest part of it. A 10-minute vlog, like if I do a full 10-minute vlog, that's 2 hours. Absolutely. If I'm working without distraction nonstop. And that's minimum. 2 hours minimum for a 10-minute vlog. And usually it's more like 3 hours. So that's 3 hours out of your day. And then you got to find a way to actually... filming stuff is not so much a problem. It's coming up with stuff that you want to film. Or stuff you want to say. Because, I mean, if I'm just filming whatever, I'm sure I could come up with a 10-minute vlog. But actually make it entertaining in the way that I think it should be entertaining, I don't know. It's hard. Do I still play on the Switch? Yes, definitely. Lately, not so much. Especially, multi-platform releases. I've become a graphics stickler a little bit more than I would have liked. I used to not care at all. And I think part of it is that I've become too much of a video stickler in general. So now my brain, it just sees that stuff all the time. And when I know I could be playing this game on my PC at 144 frames per second, in 1440p. It's really hard for me to be like, oh, I'll get it for the, not that this game's on the Switch, but it's really hard for me to be like, oh, I'll get it on the Switch, and then I have the option of it being portable. First of all, I'm never using my Switch portable. Second, every time I use my Switch portable, I'm like, this is not the experience I want to have. Or like if I'm in the car, I usually get car sick, and I'm like, okay, never mind, I don't even want to play. So Switch really comes down to exclusives. And then every time there's an exclusive now, I'm like, man, I really wish this were on a Switch Pro. Like the new Hyrule Warriors, I played that demo. Okay, we're going to skip this on. Okay, that... Oh, it did work, okay. Actually, let me just switch over. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Why is this so slow? iTunes, man. iTunes for Windows. Garbage. Let me make sure the stream is still working. What on earth was I talking about, guys? I'll find out. Okay, I remember. So I'm talking about Switch exclusives. I played the Calamity Warriors. What is it called? Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors. Warriors. That's a hard word to say. Regularly and Warriors. My two arch nemesises in words. Yeah, but every time I play them, I'm like, dude, I wish this were on a better, more capable console. And that could include the Switch Pro. I don't care what console it's on. I just want it to not be in a terrible frame rate and sub 720p garbage. I can get over it. Like, I'll always get over it, especially if the game's really good. But lately, it's just been hard for me to do that, and I haven't been. But anyway, last Switch game I played was... or have been playing is Hardcore Mecha, which actually that's funny because that's on other systems, and I would have gotten it for another system had I realized it had performance issues on the Switch. But that game is great. It's like a more fast-paced Cybernator. It's kind of interesting too because it's made by a Chinese development studio, so a lot of the names of the characters in the game are Chinese, and there's a character who is like Yimeng Huang, which is my last name, and I was like, oh, that's weird to see my last name in a game. But it's a great game. You can boost around. It's got this great mecha designs with great mecha art. It's cool. This car is not good for the water. See, that's why, or I'm seeing now why they have you have trucks in the default mode of this race. Okay. I do not play the Assassin's Creed games. No. Never played one, actually. Mandalorian started last. Well, if you're talking about season 2, it already started. It started last Friday, and then the new episode is tonight, or at midnight. No, midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, I think. Am I afraid of copyright strikes when playing video game music in your vlogs? No, not at all. When I do get copyright strikes, they just claim they don't give you copyright strikes. They just claim the ad revenue. Copyright strikes are super rare. We've never got, what's wrong with my face? I shouldn't say they're super rare. I have no idea how rare they are or not, but I'm pretty sure you only get those if you like have some sort of big copyright dispute. Like, or if you hosted a TV show or something on your channel, they would do that. But for music, they just claim your ad revenue. Like if they identify your song, then they just don't let you get any ad revenue on the video, and then any future views, the song owner gets the ad revenue. And most of the video game music I use, nobody claims they don't have that in the system, so they don't get claimed anyway. Let's do routes. Have I not done the exhibition on that? That's weird. Do I get paid for teaching my classes? If you mean my Zumba classes, yes. It's $20 a class, so I make $20 a week off that. Before, when I actually was part owner in the studio and I helped run it, we never got paid. That's the only reason we were able to keep it going for that long. Oh man, speaking of real job, I've talked about this before, but let's talk about this again. There was a movie, I think it was Mallrats or Clerks or something, and I've never seen the movie. It's probably Clerks. But this guy comes into a gas station, and he's lecturing this guy working at the gas station, talking about, why don't you do something with your life and get a real job? And I'm like, okay, everybody cover your ears if you don't want to hear any cursing, but I'm about to curse. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Motherfucker, if you don't want people to work at a gas station, who is going to work at the gas station? And people act like these jobs are like beneath like people. Like, oh, what are you doing with your life? You're working at a gas station. You're doing this. You're doing that. I'm like, somebody's got to do that shit. If nobody works the jobs that other people don't want to work, who is going to work them? Like, stop acting like everybody needs to do a job that you think is acceptable. When, like, especially if it's like a necessary job, dude. Like, the dude is literally talking to the clerk who is ringing up his items. Like, do you think that those items just get stocked on the shelf by magic? And do you think that, I mean, maybe you could automate it, the payment process. But I mean, who's going to take care of the store? Who's going to wash the bathrooms? All of these things, it's like, don't demean a job that is necessary. And in fact, shouldn't everybody deserve some dignity and respect when they're actually doing a job and helping other people? Doesn't get no thanks whatsoever for doing those jobs, and people act like people should be ashamed of working those jobs. Anyways, that's my rant about that. Now, my job, if somebody tells me I'm not doing any good for the world, like, you make an argument for that. Like, I mean, that's a struggle for me. It's like, I think about it, and I'm like, dude, I'm not really am I doing something actual good? Like, you can say, like, okay, I'm entertaining a lot of people, and people choose to watch it, or not. And people are choosing to watch it, so I'm trying to contribute in that way. But I also fully understand that this is not... I mean, in some ways, I guess for mental sanity, like people need entertainment and they need an outlet and all that stuff. And when I look at other creators and stuff, I don't look at them this way. I just feel it this way being a creator. Is that I feel like, oh, I'm not doing anything worthwhile. Well, I mean, I don't exactly feel like that, but I feel like there's a... I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say, but I don't look at other creators that way. Like, I don't look at them like, oh, man, like, they're getting paid to do something that they really like to do. Is that fair? I don't think about that at all. I'm like, oh, man, I'm so glad they're creating this. So I assume that's how other people feel who actually like the stuff that we make. But nonetheless, it still feels like, oh, man, I should be doing something more constructive. It doesn't always feel like that, but sometimes. Did you hear a JoJo reference in one of your videos? Did I hear a JoJo reference in one of your videos? Yes, you did. You probably saw it, and if you've seen any of the Adventure Archives shout-outs. Yeah, if you have kids, I bet the Switch is a godsend. My favorite part of the Switch is the resume, the quick resume. Chanohara, I actually talked about that for like 10 minutes at the beginning of this stream about whether I'd be getting the next gen consoles. Long story short, yes, I'll be getting both on a long enough timeline, but right away, only if one of them happens to be in stock, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's in stock. Let me do it. Yes, actual camera. I'm using the A7S III and the 55mm f1.8. Jeremy Cox, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about, dude. People, it's like, who's going to make your $9 drink, man? Like, until we perfect robo technology, who's going to make your $9 drink? A. And B, once we perfect robo technology, why does anybody need to do any jobs at that point, you know? Like, then it's like Star Trek. It's like, well, then what's the challenge? The challenge is to improve yourself. Enjoy it. That was a terrible Picard, but you know what I'm trying to say. And also the other thing is like, especially when video game streaming first came around, right? People were like, why are people watching people stream video games? And it was a weird kind of, it's bizarre how new things can be so perplexing to people because it's literally just entertainment. That's all it is, man. It's just some entertainment. It's like, why do you watch Conan O'Brien talk on late night shows doing little dumb interviews and doing dumb sketches with the masturbating bear and everything? It's because it's just fun to watch. There's no need beyond that. Also, live streamers, everybody's got their problems, okay? And there are certain jobs that are harder than others, okay? Live streaming is not hard in the sense that you don't have to get your hands dirty. You don't have to go out and work in the cold and everything and be a construction worker making a road. But there's plenty difficult about it. Like, imagine having to be on for 8 hours a day, you know? Like, on. You have to be engaged for 8 hours a day and be entertaining and actually keep your brain active. You can't just... Like, every job is going to have a trade-off. Like, there's certain jobs where... Like, I was talking about that the other day about writing music. Writing music is one of the most rewarding things I do. And I love it so much, but I also hate it so much. Because it's not a job like, say I worked at Target and I was stocking shelves. If I'm having a day where I'm just like, man, I don't want to do anything, I could go to Target and just stock the shelves. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to think. I can just do my job. And that's fantastic. Like those type of tasks are really fantastic to have, to be able to get paid to do those type of tasks. There are times where you're like, God, I wish I could just do something creative. It's like we need this balance, because there's times where you're like, I've got to create something from nothing, and I do not feel like doing that at all. And I'm sitting here wanting to literally tear my hair out and just do anything else, but you can't. And you got to sit there and do it. So every job has a trade-off, and everybody is always going to wish that they were on the other side of something at some point. Like, man, I wish I could do that instead of this. The one thing that is constant is everybody wants to make more money, because then you don't have any worries and you can get all the fun stuff you want. Like, that's not, there's nothing mysterious about that part of it. Do I utilize Spotify or Apple Music? No, actually. The music that I've got in my vlogs, Johnny, is just, I feel like you've asked about this before and I've never given you a proper answer, but I find a lot of my music just over years of having built up, like, especially Square Enix, they make a lot of remix albums, and I follow all of those. Like, when a new one comes out, I'm like, oh, what's this one all about? Now it's become a lot easier. You can just go to the Square Enix store and see what new ones are coming out. And I don't know, I've just always followed like official video game remix stuff a lot, and arrangement albums and everything. So just over the years, I've developed a big collection and game soundtracks. Lots of it is stuff I own, but lots of it is just pirated stuff. So don't rat me out to the authorities. I can show you my CD collection. Trust me, I've given them plenty of money. But I just pay attention to a lot of the new releases and stuff, and then just over time, you develop a big catalog, and you know what your favorites are and stuff, and I use those in the vlog. And then just a lot of them aren't in YouTube's content ID system, so they don't get flagged. But even if they did get flagged, I don't mind. That's fine. And then, but for a long time, for much of the vlog, I have used the YouTube audio library, which is free, and they give you free music. And then also epidemicsound.com. They have a $15 a month subscription, and you can use all their music. That is actually fantastic. I love their music. The problem is that I will use it for a while, and then I'll just run out of music that I like. So the last time that happened was like earlier this year, and then I waited like 6 months for them to restock their catalog and get new songs and stuff. Then I resubscribed for a while, and I'm currently not subscribed to them, and I don't use it. I've been using YouTube Audio Library the last few days for the vlog. And before that, I was using my own collection, which my collection is all in iTunes. And we can take a look in a second. In fact, right now, because I want to change the song. How many songs I have in my library? Well, iTunes is just dying. Okay, well, iTunes is just straight dying. I can't get the status bar up, but it's like 10,000, 15,000 songs or something. A lot of those are just because of soundtracks. Okay, we're going to play Genova Complete from Distant Worlds 4. This song is, if you ever want to run your fastest mile ever, this is the song right here. Missed out on the 5900X. What do I do now? You distract yourself until you realize you don't need the 5900X. Shoot. Unless you were actually due for an upgrade, and then maybe you kind of did need it. I just wait, man. I know it's tough, and I am the guiltiest of all of not waiting for stuff, but just do your best to wait. VR, I experienced it when it first came out. My brother and I, we went in 50-50 on an Oculus Rift and a Valve. God, I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? The Valve one when it first came out? Steam Valve Link? No. How come I can't remember what it was called? Not the... I want to say Link. No, that's not it. Oculus Quest is the new one. Oculus Rift was the one that we got on launch, and then the Valve Index is what I want to say, but Index is the latest one. I can't remember what the Valve VR was called when it came out. The Vive, the HTC Vive, right. We got the HTC Vive when that first came out. We used it for a bit. It was super cool. It was still kind of too new. We sold them at a nice profit. Which we didn't actually expect to do, so I don't feel bad about doing that at all. But yeah, VR is cool. It's just, well, I'll talk about VR some other time, but basically, yeah, it's cool, but it's got too many hurdles, and then you can't see the world, and I don't know. I want to try the new one. My brother got a Quest 2, so I want to try that out eventually. Favorite JoJo part and character. Favorite JoJo character is Polnareff by far. I love Polnareff. He's so funny. Maybe favorite parts, just like Stardust Crusaders from the time that they meet the first Darby guy and they do the gambling scene up until the end. Just like that is, it was so good. Well, maybe Golden Wind too. Like Golden Wind once they got to Rome and then you see all sorts of cool stuff. Oh man, and then you get introduced to a character that you didn't know was going to come back and you're like, whoa, whoa, and then man, all the great stuff, and then I can't remember what the Golden Wind song is, but the Golden Wind song, oh man. I'm very excited for Stone Ocean. I hope that's in production right now. And I've read all of the manga that is available in English. So it's like somewhere in Diamond is Unbreakable. Diamond is Unbreakable is has grown on me a lot. When I watched it the first time, it was right after I finished Stardust Crusaders, and I was like, this is a little bit too different. But it ends really well. Like, it picks up and gets really exciting at the end when the main villain kind of shows his hand. And then there's lots of great moments, like the time when Okuyasu and Josuke, they go to eat at the Italian restaurant. That is one of the best scenes in TV history. I think we watched that in the car on the way back from our last trip. It was very funny. Okuyasu might be my second favorite JoJo character. What's happened to my controller? But Polnareff is definitely my favorite. I mean, I like them all, but Polnareff's hilarious. Oops. I actually do like 3 better than 4 when it comes to Horizon. But it's mostly just the map. Like, I enjoy the terrain and stuff, and like the the scenery in 3 better. But I enjoyed 4 a lot. I really want to play the Lego expansion. I just don't want to pay the $20 to get it. I haven't spent any money on the 4th game because it was on... Well, I did, I guess, when I paid for Game Pass, but I've only played it on Game Pass, so I'm hoping they'll eventually add the DLC to Game Pass, and then I could play it there. Oh, Mounts Doubts. Man, that's fantastic. I'm really glad that you're able to get out there, and I'm glad you found the video. That's the type of thing that I never expected. I've said this many times, but I never expected anybody to get that type of benefit out of our videos. So I'm really glad to hear that. For one, that you were able to get out there, and then 2, that people actually get that type of benefit. Oh, the music timed perfectly to that. Hold on, the frame rate's still messed up on this. Well, let me try one thing to see if I can fix it. We can... This is probably going to break the game, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, Brian was right. It was the Vive. Danny. Welcome, Danny. Oh, welcome, Brian, too. Oh, Auden Chronicles, I'm all over that, baby. I'm not going to back it on Kickstarter because they already met their goal. But, man, when that game comes out, I'm all over it. Why is it not letting me change the frame rate? Like, now it's at 15? What is going on here? Okay, well, now it's at 60. Okay, let's see what it looks like in the game. Why haven't I played Ghost of Tsushima with you guys? Because I gave the copies that we were gifted to Brian and Andrew. I could try to get another one. I'm sure I could, but I would like to. I would rather watch you guys play, actually. That's what I really want to do. Okay, I think I fixed the frame rate issue. It's looking like it's at 60 now. Oh, I love this song. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I think I've done all the exhibitions now. Which I thought I had already done. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'll just do these. That's fine. Yeah, I heard the raids were pretty dope. Dan Dockman, or Dokman. Yes. I will definitely be doing another Japan video once we're allowed out of the country. Did you know the U.S. hit 100,000 cases in a day? Like, not only have we not slowed it down, it's increasing in speed. Just what a failure of everything. Just a failure of culture, failure of policy. Oh, man. I don't even care who you blame. You can blame whoever you want, but we got to all at least agree that this is a failure. What's your favorite non-video game OST, movie, TV show, anime, etc.? Oh, that's a tough question. Oh, that's such a tough question. Oh, Cowboy Bebop. Yep. The Cowboy Bebop music panopticon. Is that the right usage of that word? Probably not. Fantastic. Cowboy Bebop, just so many good tracks. Like, and it covers so many different styles. Like, you get, like, ELM, Green Bird. Those are so different from, like, Bad Dog, No Biscuit, What Planet Is This? And then you got, like, the Agonai. Oh, man. Look up any of those songs I just mentioned, and they're all certifiable classics. Or bangers, depending on... What is a banger? Isn't a banger like some sort of food in Britain? Like mashed potatoes or something? Mashed potatoes and bangers or something? Like a sausage? I think a banger is a sausage, right? Sausage. Sausage. That's how you say sausage in Japanese. Next thing I need to do is get an office chair. I got rid of this office chair I had been using since literally middle school because it was so ugly, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna stand. But it's pretty comfortable. I mean, it was good enough. It's certainly better than the random kitchen stool that I'm using right now. I went from a functional chair to a kitchen stool to this like lawn chair that's made out of fabric. I really do stand more often than I sit at this desk, but whenever I'm playing games at this desk, then I'm really like, man, I should get a chair. Ah, come on. I don't play games on this that often. Oh, I will definitely hit you up, Danny, and we will go to Japan. Would you like to live in Japan at any point in the future? No. I don't know where I've addressed this before, but I think I've addressed it before, but I apologize if I'm repeating myself. I like Japan a lot. And I love going there. I love visiting. I love seeing the people that I know there, which is just a couple of people, but it's super fun. And I speak the language well enough that it doesn't feel like going to another country. It just feels like going to a cool place. And that's all great. But living there, I can't do it, man. I have to live in a place where I feel like I am one of the people. And for better or worse, in Japan, it's still not, maybe it never will be, but it's just not at the point where if you're a foreigner, not that anybody does anything on purpose, and nobody, even if somebody's not doing it, I would still feel this way, but I just need to feel like, yeah, I grew up here. I know the rules of the road. I get to define the rules of the road because I grew up here, and this is my place, that you can't tell me that I'm doing something wrong or get mad at me. Like, I grew up in Indiana since I was like 2, okay? So if anybody tries to claim like that, oh, I mean, this is not how we act in Indiana, I'm like, yes, it is. If the way I'm acting right now is how I am acting, then this is how we act in Indiana. Because I grew up here. I'm an Indianan, and actually we say Hoosiers here, but I mean, that applies to lots of states. Like if I lived in Ohio or anywhere in the Midwest, I'm like, don't tell me how I... Not that anybody would. Let me be clear. Nobody has done this, but it's just an internal feeling thing where I can feel like, oh, yeah, this is my place, dude. It's like, this is just where I feel perfectly comfortable in my skin, you know? I need to live in a place where I would feel like that. And in Japan, I always will feel like an outsider. Whether they would do it on purpose or not, I would feel like an outsider. And then just beyond that, my family doesn't live there, and I don't want to live somewhere where I have to make such a massive effort just to see family. It's really not hard to see any of my family here. Nobody lives that far away. Like my farthest relatives, like, wrong. And Brian wasn't able to make it. I don't know if Brian's still in the chat, but that was on my dad's side of the family. So Danny, sorry. You would certainly be invited if you wanted to come, but I don't think it occurred to us to invite anybody else. But anyways, Brian wasn't able to make it, so he missed out on that fun. But me and Andrew were both there, and we both agreed. It was great. Because we used to do that all the time, man. On my dad's side of the family, we used to get together every Christmas, and now we never do it anymore. The last time we did it was in 2004. And last year we did it in 2019. That's 15 years, man. My mom's side of the family, where me and Danny are cousins, we do it literally every Thanksgiving. And in fact, Brian and Andrew come to that, so they get to be a part of it too. But every Thanksgiving is fantastic. But anyways, if I lived in Japan, man, it would be such an ordeal. Yeah, so anyways, there's 0% chance of me, not zero, but there's extremely unlikely that I'll ever move to Japan to actually live there. But Danny, yeah, I'll hit you up next time we go. Danny, Spiky Bri, why are you the way you are? That's like a song. You are the way that you are. Oh, Brian, your Pro broke? Now? No, now you just have to get a PS5. Bangers in mash. It's a sausage. Okay, yeah, people confirmed my theory that it was a sausage. Jeremy. I did live there. I lived there for a year when I was studying abroad. So my junior year of college was spent studying Japanese at a Japanese university in Nagoya, Japan. And it was cool. But that was actually a big part of the reason why I don't want to live there. After that experience, I was like, no, I'm good. Visiting Slovenia in the future. We have absolutely no... That's never been on our radar. But now that you say it, maybe I should look it up and check it out. Because I'm sure it's amazing. Yeah, so there's no plans to visit anywhere right now. Right now, even planning domestic trips is like not exactly harrowing, but it's a consideration. There's so many more considerations because it's not like we can just go. I mean, at this point, we probably can go to hotels. Hotels are not probably big spreaders of the virus, but we don't want to spread it to other people either. And it's super not under control. Like if you look at the numbers, when we were in lockdown, that's when we could have been doing it and be like, oh yeah, this is relatively safe. You do it now, it's demonstrably unsafe. So, I mean, we can still do it. We did it twice now, and we were able to do it with minimal contact with other people. But even then, we gotta hope that each other are not infecting each other. Which so far we have been clear of, but I don't know, man. It's closing in. Like the circle is closing in. Hold on, I'm gonna pause. I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom and other stuff. I have not done a pizza party since the last time. Oh, I didn't realize I was still racing. Oh, multiplayer stream. Yeah, we should definitely do that, Brent. I can't do it this weekend, though. I'm going to be out of town. Mr. Ballack, hello. Yeah, we should all do another joint stream. It's really just a matter of getting everybody on at the same time. There's no reason for us not to be doing it, really. Okay, we need some slightly more energetic music here. This'll do. You know, the music makes the games for me for Final Fantasy. If the games did not have the music they have, it would not have the impact that they have on me. It transports me to the world. Listen to that. Come on, man. I will say, man, the thing I miss most about school, or the only thing I miss about school, is playing in band. Playing live music as a group is just, oh man, it's so much fun. And I would enjoy it so much more now than I did then. Like back then, I wasn't emoting. I was afraid to emote because I thought people would make fun of me, which they would. But now it's like, if you emote outside of school, it gets the proper treatment that it deserves, which is that people who like the emotion will be drawn to it, and the people who don't, they just ignore you. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever you do your thing. I'll see you later. Well, most people. There's I'm sure a huge contingent of people who wouldn't. I will. Well, the music almost matched up there. How hyped are you for FF16? I'm definitely getting some Game of Thrones vibes. Ayah. That came out accidentally. I didn't mean to do an ayah there. Wow, look at those graphics. My God. I want to be hyped about Final Fantasy 16. I'm not disappointed or anything, but I'm not hyped yet. It looks really cool, but that type of style is also not what I go to Final Fantasy for. Like, I go to Final Fantasy for, like, you know, I want color and like sci-fi and like elements of sci-fi, like Magitech type of sci-fi, like Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7, that style, or even Final Fantasy 9, where it's like very stylized, weird. It's like medieval through a Japanese lens. That's what I really like, which I mean, Final Fantasy 16 is absolutely that, because that's literally what it is. But it just, right now, it feels a little bit too much just like straight Western medieval fantasy. But we'll see. We'll see. And as I said, the soundtrack is extremely important. So that will make a big deal on how I feel about it. So we'll see. I don't even want to say I'm cautiously optimistic, because that doesn't describe it right. I'm just optimistic. I'm not worried about it, but I'm also not super hyped about it. I think it'll be good. I'm hoping it'll be good. Mr. Ballack, thank you. I'm glad you like the Japan videos. And Daryl, glad you're here. Blizzard Mountain. Do you have a recommendation for a first camera around $800? Yes, I got tons of recommendations. Let me ask this first. What do you want? Do you want to learn photography and videography and you want interchangeable lenses? Or do you want just a camera that's going to work well and you don't really have to think about it? Because if you want the latter, I will go ahead and say right now the Sony ZV-1 is the shit. The Sony ZV-1 is so great, man. What an awesome, tiny little camera. I love that thing. If you want a camera... If you want a camera that actually has a interchangeable lens, you are already participating. Oh, I'm already participating. Okay. That's a tougher question because I would actually recommend a used camera at that price. Or, oh, no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Let me think. I don't know. It's like my opinion kind of wavers a lot because the more I've used cameras, the more I feel like certain cameras... There's only really one camera in my mind that does everything, and that's the Sony a7S III. That's $3,500. People don't want to spend that much money. All the other cameras are compromises in different areas. And really, the different compromises will be... You really would have to look at the way you shoot videos and see what's important. Because to some people, maybe a flip screen doesn't matter because they're never filming themselves and they're always going to be holding the camera. And then to some other people, maybe autofocus won't matter because you're always doing manual focus. Like when we shoot Adventure Archives, autofocus is almost a non-issue. Like, well, when we're doing the Steadicam stuff, it's a big issue. But any of our tripod shots, or if I could film somebody else, like if I'm operating the camera or Andrew's operating the camera, it doesn't matter. Like we can usually get around it. So autofocus isn't as big of an issue. And then there's times where it's like, how important is stabilization? Like, are you going to be using tripod or are you going to be trying to do a bunch of handheld stuff? Because then stabilization is super important. And it's like this, it's like a character creation sheet where every time you lift one stat, the other stat goes down. And if you're going to be making compromises and not going to get the a7S III, you really got to know how you're shooting. And if you don't know how you're shooting, I would actually suggest don't get a camera that expensive yet. Start off with something even cheaper. Get a Panasonic G7 for like $300 used on Adorama.com. And then just use that until you know how you shoot. Because that camera is going to get you like 90% of the way there on a lot of different factors. It's cheap. It's light. It's got a huge selection of lenses. The kit lens is fine to start off with. Yeah, Panasonic. So maybe that's my answer. If you don't know what you know yet, what you want yet, get Panasonic. Use Panasonic G7. Start from there. And then go up. But I'm going to look at the chat now and see what you have said. I know how you feel. I was in orchestra such a fun and curious time. Oh, okay. Yeah, me too, man. Why no more Twitch stream? Twitch stream just... First of all, the big reason is that their payouts, like, it took me like 3 years to reach the $100 threshold to actually get a payout. So Twitch was holding on to money for like 3 years. I finally got the payout, and then I immediately disabled the ability to do donations on my channel so that no more money would collect in there. You have to make $100 before you can get any of the payouts. So that didn't make any sense. Second of all, my audience is all on YouTube. I don't want to split it between Twitch and YouTube. It could just be a private stream on Twitch, which is was a fun aspect when we were doing it on Twitch. But it just didn't make any sense to do it on Twitch, I felt like. Which I'm curious, as a viewer, what do you prefer about Twitch over YouTube? My guess would be that you can quickly switch between the different viewers that you're, or not viewers, people that you're watching. And like if you get bored of one, you just swipe down on the app and then you check out the other ones or on the website, you know. Whereas YouTube, you'd have to, yeah, the live interface is not quite the same, I guess. It doesn't have that channel flipping atmosphere. I'm not sure if that's the reason why you would prefer Twitch, but let me know. See, the A6300, I would have said is a great starter, but I actually feel like that has a lot of huge drawbacks that I really don't like. Rolling shutter used to not bother me. Now that I used the A7 III for a long time, A7 III has terrible rolling shutter. It actually started to bother me, and like, you don't really realize how it looks different until you use it for a while and then go back to a camera that doesn't have rolling shutter and you're like, wow, this like, it really looks weird when they move around. Like even closing the cabinets in my kitchen, like they looked weird. Like you can see these big diagonal lines, and that's probably picking nits. But the bigger issues with the A6300 for me were the overheating. Like you cannot use that in a hot environment if you're going to shoot 4K. And especially if you're going to do any type of interview stuff, that is a nightmare camera to use. I actually took that on a real shoot one time as the B camera, and it kept overheating, and I was like, okay, this is really not good. We got through it because it was a very low pressure situation where it was just like we were filming a talking head. And the talent was having trouble remembering all the things that they wanted to say anyway, so we had to do 1 billion takes anyway, so there was plenty of time for them to practice, and then we could continue after the camera cooled down. And let me pause here. Let me catch up on these real quick. Let me pause this music. Oh, man, I would love to go to Pakistan. I would love to go to lots of different places. I just really need to actually pick a couple places and put the effort into planning a trip like that. Okay. I probably won't be filming in the dark and will not film myself, more like landscape or wildlife. I have a GoPro Hero 7. Okay. Most of my commercial work never made it out into anywhere public. It was all like internal videos. So like it was like when one department was trying to sell something to another department, not sell, but like try to show what their project was all about. I'm not doing any freelance video work for the most part. Every now and then somebody will ask me to do something and I can do it. But especially actually shooting video, I try not to do that anymore because it just takes up so much time. But vlog and Adventure Archives are the main gigs. Okay, I probably won't be filming dark and will not film myself, more like landscape or wildlife. I have a GoPro Hero 7. Okay, let me ask a follow-up question. What are you looking to do? Just make your videos look better? Or are you actually looking into learning the elements of photography and everything? Because based on what you just said, I would actually say the A6300 could be a good option if you don't mind the rolling shutter stuff. But the overheating, you would have to think about your weather. But man, like maybe around $800, I would actually say you could do Panasonic G9. I think those are as cheap as $900 when they're on sale. But a Panasonic G9, that's basically a GH5 with, I think, better autofocus too, actually. And the Panasonic GH5, we still use that. Like, that's still our main A camera for Adventure Archives. The A7S III we have on a Steadicam. I would like to get 2 A7S3s so we could just use those, but that's a substantial money investment. That's probably not the best investment, but we'll see, because I'm going to be selling my GH5, and I can most of the way pay for another A7S III when I sell all that stuff. But anyways, like a Panasonic G9, man, you could have, that's like a future-proof camera too. Like, you don't have good autofocus, but the manual focus is fantastic on that thing. And you have all the lens options from Micro Four Thirds. It looks fantastic. It does great 4K, 4K 60, does 10-bit. Great battery life. It's solid, man. Now, if you could spend $2,000, where would I go if you could spend $2,000? If you could spend $2,000, I'd probably put it at Panasonic S5. I haven't used that. But if it were me and I was spending $2,000, I'd be strongly looking at the Panasonic S5. And actually, a big reason for that is that that 20 to 60 millimeter lens, that is the ultimate focal length. 20 to 60, 20 millimeters on the wide end is so good. 20 millimeters is a perfect wide focal length. And 60 millimeters is more than enough to zoom in. Like, they always have 24 to 70s. I don't know what the difference between 60 and 70 is. Like, I don't know how much more reach you get out of those extra 10 millimeters, but I could definitely make do with even 20 to 50 millimeters. And I know that because I have the Micro Four Thirds lens that does 20 to 50 millimeters. Oh, man, a 20 to 50? Come on, man. Or, yeah, 20. Oh, 20 to 60. It's 20 to 60. It's not even 20 to 50. Yeah, 2060? Come on. That's great. I love that. Right now, I've got a 24 to 105 as my main camera for the A7S III, and it's great. But man, it's no 20. If it was 20 to 105, then you're. No Nut November, is that actually a thing? Do people actually do that? A, and B, why? Why do people do that? You know, the whole, like, what do they call that? There's some term for it where you abstain, and it's like supposed to be you can focus more. I don't believe that for a second. If you think that you're somehow able to focus more by not doing it, your biology works different than mine, because there's no way, dude. My brain would be, I literally wouldn't be able to think about anything else. Like, the whole point of doing it is so you can stop thinking about it and actually get on to other things in your life. So I don't know why, unless it's just like a game. You're like doing it for the fun of it. Why would you do that to yourself? No, it'd be like saying, "Oh, I'm not going to eat any food for a couple days." Yeah, that may have some like spiritual, you know, like you're training your brain to be more tough or something. But just like physically, I don't think there's any advantage to that. Granted, I haven't looked at the science. Maybe there's some science that says there is, but I am skeptical. I think my wireless controller is losing battery or signal or something. I don't know what's going on here. I might have to plug up in a second. Yeah, let me just plug up now. Yeah, let me get the cable. Okay, it was running out of batteries as... No, it wasn't. I don't know what it was. Let's hope this works. Okay, it worked. Like a charm. Oh, I want to learn to make good videos. Then yeah. Panasonic G7, $350 used on Adorama.com or somewhere. That's a cheap, great starter option. If you want to take the next step up, try out a Panasonic G9. And you can learn all about lenses and how they work and everything. If you just want a good point and shoot that has great quality, not necessarily learning about videos, although you could learn from that, you just can't expand after Sony ZV-1. Mr. Ballack, thank you very much for the offer. Dude, yeah. I will, I mean, this is a long in the future discussion, but planning international trips will happen eventually once we can start planning those again after the pandemic. If there is ever after a pandemic, we'll see. Oh, Sanwar, yes, if you do, definitely show it to me. I would love to see it. Tommy, I put in a order literally the second it went up at bnh.com or bhphoto.com. I think that's what the website is. Anyway, it's B&H. The second I knew the pre-orders when exactly they were going live, I didn't need to see any reviews. I already knew it was the one for me after the Canon R5 had its overheating nonsense. And I was like, okay, I'm good to go. Which still, even without the overheating, I would still probably go with the A7S III. 8K is super cool, and it, bar none, has the best picture quality of everything. But when you think about file sizes and trying to edit 8K video, it just doesn't make that much sense. Like, if my computer can't even edit 8K video, then what's the point? But yeah, I put in a pre-order the second it went live. So just, that's what I would do. If you want to get another one, not if you want to get another one, if you want to get one, just put in a pre-order at B&H and just wait. Because they don't charge your card until it ships anyway. Also, if you can get one of their Payboo credit cards, they take off the sales tax. So for me, that was a 7% discount. Because normally it'd be the camera plus 7% sales tax for me, but with the Payboo card, they will take off the 7% sales tax and you just pay the other stuff. So that was a savings of like $250 in tax for me, which was nice. Okay, here we go. Here we go. No fap. That's what they call it. Too funny, man. Have I ever played any of the Persona games? Yes, I have. I actually finished Persona 3 Portable. Good God, that was a long game, man. It took me like 60 hours by the end of it. I cannot play games that are that long unless I really like them. You know? Even Final Fantasy VII Remake, that was the main story. Well, I ended up playing that game for like 100 hours, almost 100 from all the extra stuff I did. But the main story of the game needs to be 40 hours or less for me. If it's longer than that, I'm just like, dude, this is taking too long to actually see the story. If I want to go back and do like all sorts of extra stuff, that's one thing. But the main story, I feel like, needs to wrap up in under 40 hours. Like Persona 5, loved it. Oh, man, it was so great. Some of the best music ever written. In fact, we're going to play Persona 5 music right now. Oh, man, so good. But then I got like 38 hours into the game, and I was like, I'm not even close. Not even anywhere near the end of the game. And I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. You get back pain when you fap. It's a problem. Oh, sorry. I mean, I don't mean to laugh at your plight. That's the actual thing. That is very much unfortunate. But I'm curious as to, well, maybe let's not get into that. I was gonna say I'm curious the mechanics of how that causes you back pain, but we'll just we'll leave that to our imaginations, or we'll leave that out of our imaginations. But yeah, that sucks, dude. There was that other November thing where you like don't shave. I think that was just a charity thing, though. I shaved this morning, so I lost at that too. Not that I was competing in either one of those things. So this music, right? Persona music. Michael, who you guys know from the Japan videos, he's like, I can't play Persona games because I cannot stand these like jazzy vocal songs. He's like, the music itself is good. It's fine. But whenever they have somebody singing some jazzy vocals in the background, he's like, nope, can't do it. Persona 5, though, man, Persona 5, just like the perfect atmosphere and like tone and feel. It was just so good. So good. I'm just like, you guys need an editor, man. I understand you're making this game for people who are extremely hardcore about their RPGs and they want to get lost in hundreds of hours of gameplay. But I was like, yo, I want to see this story, which is very interesting, and I don't want to do it for the next 105 hours. I want to do it in a nice tight 40. Give me a nice tight 40. A Final Fantasy VII Remake 40. You know what I'm saying? Final Fantasy VII Remake. I probably said this already. I'm going to say it again. I saw a headline on TheVerge.com when the game came out. That was a review, and the headline review said, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a thrilling reimagining of the 1997 game. Something like that. The key word, though, was thrilling. That game, like more than anything else, that is the key word for that game, is it's thrilling. Just so many thrilling moments, and you're just like, oh man, this is like what I live for. The thrill. Snake Eater. What a thrill. Someday you'll feed on a tree frog. Yeah, but I love the excitement of 7 Remake. The music, like the battle themes, good God. Okay, we're going to switch over to that now. Yeah, we got to do those battle themes, baby. Raven Rook. Yeah, Genshin Impact. Brian's been playing that a lot. I watched him play it for a while. Andrew, I guess it would depend on how much money. Like, everybody's got a price for selling out. I don't know what my price is, but I guess it would depend on how much. I think the main thing that I like is that we've got creative control right now. And we can do whatever we want. I mean, we don't make that much money, but there's no... nobody telling us how to shoot it. Nobody telling us what to say. Nobody telling us to put sponsored products in there. And I mean, somebody's got to make us like a stand as far as like that type of stuff. I mean, don't want to, well, I don't even know if I actually feel this way, but I kind of feel this way. It's just like, we all, like, I know how much I struggle with ads just constantly getting me to want to buy stuff. So every time I go on the internet, it's just, okay, here, buy this. Oh, here, buy that. And I'm like, oh, God, just, okay, yeah, I want to buy it. But stop telling me to buy it because I don't have any money to spend frivolously on this stuff. And I didn't want this the 2 seconds before I knew that it existed. But now that I know it exists, I'm like, okay, good. And I feel like we got to be more open about the fact that we're all susceptible to this. Everybody's acting like, oh, you just got to have willpower and save money. It's, nobody's actually doing that. Some people are. But I feel like we got to be a lot more honest and open on how influenceable we are. People who say that ads don't affect them, it's like a big pet peeve of mine. I'm like, yes, they do. You are not so special and exceptional from everybody else. There's a reason that these companies spend so much money on ads, man. That being said, the videos I put on YouTube all have ads in front of them unless you pay for YouTube Premium, so it's like I'm being hypocritical as it is, so anyway. Is it normal that you hate your first ever made video? I think it depends on what type of personality you have, because a lot of people, I don't think they ever get over that. Even when they're making amazing stuff, they still hate their own stuff. So I don't think that's not normal at all. Like, I don't think that's anything to worry about, is when you make something, you're like, I don't like this, isn't any good. So I would say keep at it, and hopefully you eventually like it. But there may be a point where you never like your own stuff, and you just have to look to other people and be like, is this any good? And if they like it, then you can use that as your yardstick for success. I'm not one of those people, though. I have liked everything I've made since the first time I made. I look back at my old stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's really terrible. But at the moment, I'm very excited about it. Even if it absolutely doesn't deserve that. The first movie I ever made, or first video, really, was a Metal Gear fan movie we made in my backyard. And when that finished rendering in the morning, man, we watched that literally all day. Like, that's all we did, was we just watched it over and over again. We were like, dude, this is so amazing. This is so good. And I look at it now and I'm like, dude, we were like 2 seconds away from sending it into IGN.com and being like, oh, check out this Metal Gear fan movie we made, and everybody's going to love it. This was before YouTube, by the way. We would have been laughed out of the room. Or they would have been like, oh, how cute. A bunch of kids are making Metal Gear movies. Although I think we were in high school at that point. Which is still a kid, absolutely. But some of the stuff high school kids do, man, it was like, you look at it, you're like, wow, I am completely talentless. High school people are doing that already. I mean, that's the thing, is with the internet now, you're not competing against your own pond anymore. You're competing against the whole ocean. So you have to find your niche. It's in a way that works just like the ocean. It's like not everybody's competing for the same food and the same locations. Like, you find your little niche, and then you try to be the best ballerina you can be in your niche. The reason I said ballerina is because I think that's what Kobe Bryant said. He was saying something about that. It's like, everybody's got a box, and you're doing like a dance in your box, and you gotta do the best possible dance you can do within your box. He said something like that, but the point is kind of similar. You see how I'm just going. Have you ever had any trouble buying used camera stuff on eBay? I want to get a nice little touristy camera for our travel, but I'm a bit skeptical. I've never had any trouble buying any stuff on eBay. And I've had very little trouble selling stuff on eBay. The only time I ever had trouble on eBay was I sold a Terminator 2 Blu-ray. And this dude returned it to me, telling me it didn't play in his Blu-ray player. And I was like, dude, I just tried it before I got this, and looking at the disc, it's pristine. What's your problem? And I saw that he got a bunch of other negative feedback, and I was like, dude, I don't even care if I lose money at this point, because it was like $10. I was like, dude, I'm just going to have a fight with this guy. So I had a fight with him, basically, and I was like, dude, no, I'm not refunding you. And then he had to open a case on YouTube, and I was like, fine, open a case on YouTube, and they'll definitely judge in your favor. I don't care. That was me being extremely petty, but I did it. Anyway. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. Oh, okay, yeah, it's right there. Igor, we have not considered that, but that sounds pretty cool. Tommy, what do you do for health insurance? I've had the same health insurance since I was like 20 years old. I don't know what it is, but I had actually had a friend who he worked for that company. And I was like, oh, you work for that company? Maybe you can give me a better price. And he looked at mine and he's like, dude, don't ever switch away from your plan. You're like a super old grandfathered plan that's actually good, and it's relatively cheap. So just stick with that forever. And I was like, okay. Which my deductible is like insane, but I think it'll cover me for... Well, actually, I don't even know if the deductible is insane, but it will cover me for any catastrophic stuff. U.S.'s healthcare is just, come on. It's like, our priorities are so out of whack, and it's so disheartening when people fight against national healthcare. But guys, if there's anything the government should be spending on money, it's keeping everybody healthy. Why is that not like universally accepted and wanted? It's just so bizarre to me. Shelter, food, and clothing. And health. Shelter, food, clothing, health. Clothing's kind of like, that's pretty low priority, I guess, because that's easy to fulfill. But shelter, food, health. Come on, man. We got to get that under control. It's 2020. Movember, yeah, Movember. This is Forza Horizon 3. Oh, yeah, people answered it already. Sorry. Looking for a good all-around camera mic. Should I get a shotgun mic and a separate stereo mic, or is there one that does it all? Don't get stereo mics. Only do a stereo mic if you specifically want to do stereo audio where you're like capturing ambient audio. I've never found a good use for a stereo mic in my personal workflow. The best mic, in my opinion, of all the ones I've used is the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. It sounds fantastic. It's not super expensive. I mean, it's a little bit expensive. It's $300. But it's great. It has an awesome windscreen you can get for it. The battery life is unbelievable. It takes AA batteries, or it uses a built-in rechargeable battery. And that built-in rechargeable battery, man, that lasts you for ages. It's built like a tank. It turns on automatically. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. That sounds like an ad, not a sponsor. The Rode VideoMic NTG, I actually got that when it came out. And I actually wasn't very impressed with it. No, that's not what I should say. I should say it had noise in the signal. And I don't know if that was a firmware thing or what. But it wasn't. I was hoping it was going to be smaller and lighter. I don't think it was lighter. And it was definitely not that small enough to justify the difference. Or justify replacing the Pro Plus. But anyways, I think the Pro Plus is great. And it does everything I want it to do. Stereo mic, if you're doing dialogue and stuff, I don't see why you would want a stereo mic. Like, even for ambient audio, a mono mic is great. You don't need a stereo mic, I don't think. That could just be me, though. Okay, this music's way too intense. In fact, I'm just going to pause the music for a while. Jason, thank you. Glad you liked it. And Jordan, see you later. Have a good one. Mr. Ballack, I'm not hiring, unfortunately. Sorry. I buy stuff I don't need all the time, and don't we all? Speaking of that, what is your least favorite AA episode that you've shot? If we discount the early stuff and just say, okay, not counting the early stuff because that looked like garbage. Let's say anything Red River Gorge and after the first Red River. For a long time I've said Shenandoah, but I think that was mostly just because we somehow made it so short. But also not much happens in that. Maybe I'd still say Shenandoah because like 20 minutes of that episode is literally just us sitting at a meal. And not even like a creatively shot meal. It's just literally the camera just sits there looking at us. So yeah, I'll go Shenandoah. Yeah, let me get caught back up on chat real quick.
Yeah, Andrew, thank you for the watching Mount Whitney. Glad you liked it. Does anybody know how long I've been streaming? Can anybody check that? Also, I actually need to check what time it is. It's 12:40. Okay. I'm going to be going to my dad's house for dinner tonight, so I needed to make sure I'm not... Well, when I say dinner, I'm going to go after my sister gets home from school. You know what I was thinking about lately? Is I don't want to be somebody who... You guys know about the Dunning-Kruger effect. I think we talked about this in a previous stream. Let me just quickly paraphrase. It's that the dumber you are, the more you think you know. And the smarter you are, the more you realize how much you don't know. And not smart, knowledgeable. That's the word I'm looking for. And I might not even be 100% correct that that's what the Dunning-Kruger effect is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's the one where the more knowledgeable and more expertise you have, the more you realize where you actually stand on your knowledge and expertise. But the less you do, the more confident you are in how much you know, even if you don't know anything, which you almost certainly don't. Anyways, just lately, that's been such a huge thing in like political discourse, especially. But I don't want to be somebody who acts like I know a lot about any particular topic when I don't actually know it. I want to make sure I'm always very clear on how much I know, you know? But more than that, I want to actually start learning again. Like I was thinking about that lately. I learn quite a bit in my particular fields, right? But when you're in school, you're learning so much about a bunch of different fields all the time, and you're constantly expanding your knowledge base. And to a certain extent, you can't do that anymore because you don't have the time to just devote to learning new stuff all the time. There's not enough hours in the day for you to use your skills and expertise towards what you're good at and also put new information in. Like when you're in school, you're literally just putting new information in all day. You're putting that information to use on tests and stuff, but you're not using it in a practical sense so much. But just lately I've been like, dude, I don't want to be not learning for the rest of my life, you know? Like even reading, I haven't been reading actual substantial text in years now. Like the last time I was reading very regularly was like when I started the vlog in like 2015. Just like from the time I graduated college until then, I was reading quite a bit, and I go to the library, I check out new books, mostly nonfiction stuff, but I felt like I was expanding my knowledge and coming up with new ideas based on new ideas that I saw in books. But lately, I just feel like I've been resting on what I already know and not taking the time and the effort to actually look for new ideas and learn about new topics, you know? And even stuff that I need to learn more about and actually put the effort into, music theory being the eternal one, I just somehow don't. And I think a big part of it is there's so much bite-sized information now that I'm filling a lot of my potential new information centers of my brain with just a bunch of bite-sized info that may or may not be helpful, but I want to make a more concerted effort to being like, oh, let me just like take a quick little deep dive on a singular topic. And it doesn't have to be a super deep dive. It doesn't have to get like super intense, but like just, you know, like read a book on, I don't know, like actually find out how cars work, for instance. Let's take what I'm doing right now. I want to know like what the hell is a carburetor? And how did the different parts of a car work? And how does like automatic shifting work? Like how on earth does a car know how to shift automatically? You know, all of these things that like you can kind of, you don't need to know it for your everyday life. But in the same way that for instance, if you're always on your phone in the presence of other people, like when you're hanging out with your friends and you're all on your phone, you lose those opportunities for spontaneous conversation. Okay? And in the same way, when you don't have knowledge about a broad array of topics, right? You don't have the opportunity for a spontaneous generation of new ideas from the different topics that you know. Like, it just wouldn't occur to you. Like, you can take one, I can't think of any good examples. I was trying to think of an example of how that might happen. But there's definitely times where you just have knowledge in one thing, and then you think about, oh, wait, what if you applied that to this other field? So anyways, long story short, I don't want to be a stupid person. I feel like, man, there's a lot of stupid people out there, and I consider myself a stupid person in many ways, and I'm like, I don't want to be stupid. I want to be a little bit more informed and knowledgeable. Which I guess stupid is not exactly information and knowledge. It's more your capacity for learning new stuff, right? Which I have a capacity to learn new stuff. So in that sense, yeah, I'm smart enough. I'm not stupid enough. You know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, to that end. Although, I did just read a book. What was that book I just read? Maybe I read too fast now and I can't even remember the things that I read. I just read a book. What was it? Hold on, I gotta look it up now. Because I checked it out from the library. Okay, I read Edward Snowden's book a while ago. But what was the other one? There was another one. Maybe my library actually has checkout history now. What the heck was that book, man? I remember it so vividly because the guy came to the car. They had like curbside checkout. On my shelves completed. Where's my checkout? Oh, they have to have a checkout thing. Checked out. Like a checkout history. Dang, I don't think they have that yet. My profile. My activity. I don't know, man. I read some book, but clearly it didn't leave much of an impact because I can't even remember what book it was. But it was literally just like a month ago. Anyway. I'm trying not to be an idiot. I'm trying to make myself more informed and knowledgeable. Okay, 1 hour, 48 minutes. That's not too bad. Okay, we can keep going. I would love to go back to Germany. I'd love to go to Europe in general. Oh, Andrew Klein. Yeah, well, we do have a P.O. box. Send me an email at thisisrobby@gmail.com. It's all one word. Thisisrobby@gmail.com, and I'll send you the P.O. box. How would I rank my video skills? Man, like mechanically. Well, let me get through the chat. Oh, was it? No, I listened to that. I listened to Michael Pollan's book on caffeine. I was like, man, those are the type of books I love, is when somebody dives into a topic that I'm super interested in. Like caffeine is just very fascinating to me because of the effect it has on me and the fact that everybody's taking it. It is literally a psychoactive drug that everybody takes and is completely legal. And I would love to see a book on why. I mean, maybe you don't need to write a whole book on it. It's kind of patently obvious why, but marijuana is illegal. Coffee is legal. And they literally are like the opposite drugs. They do the exact opposite thing. One relaxes you and makes you not want to work. The other one super doesn't relax you. It makes you very focused and you work like a maniac. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense why one would be legal and not illegal, or how it would develop into the culture where one's legal and the other is not. Anyways, going back to my video skills, how would I rate myself video skill? Mechanically, like just actually making a video, I would place them in certain respects quite high. But in other respects, like color grading, it's still quite low. I'm getting a lot better at that, though. I've actually made some effort into learning how that works, and I've gotten comfortable with the waveform monitor, and I feel like that's definitely taken a big step in the right direction. But like mechanically, just editing videos, like if you told me you wanted a video this way or that way, I could do it. I'm fairly certain I'm much faster than average. Much faster and accurate than average, and I catch all the details that I need to catch. And I feel pretty comfortable in saying that. One, just like the raw hours that I've edited video, have I hit the 10,000 mark? It's 3 hours a day for 10 years. I've probably not hit 10,000 hours of video editing work, but I'm certainly at 5,000. I gotta be at 5,000. So I wouldn't say I'm like the best of the best, but I'm pretty good. Actual making a good video, though, like we're not just talking about mechanics, that's so totally up to interpretation. And I would put myself as, like, sometimes I think I'm pretty good. Then I see other people's videos and I'm like, man, I have no talent whatsoever. Or I see somebody's videos that has a different style than mine that I can't do. Like, I could do it, but it'd be an emulation thing. It wouldn't be, this is my style and I'm like in my lane, my comfort zone. Hold on, I gotta change battery. Whoops, forgot to turn the camera back on. What was I saying? I think I was talking about styles of video. Anyway, people make different styles of video. Is it still not working? Oh, no, it's working now. Okay, cool. Yeah, but styles of when you see, oh, and then I also was talking about styles of music, and I was like, when the camera was off just now. Like, I feel like you listen to different types of music, or you listen to certain people because of their style of music. And people don't need to be experts at every style. Now, if you see a style and that calls to you and you're like, man, that's the type of style I want to do, even if you already have an established style, like, that's another thing. That's like, although I don't feel like anybody would ever truly just totally switch styles. It'd be like you see a style and you're like, oh, I want to kind of incorporate that in a little bit. And then it helps evolve your own style. Or maybe that's not actually what happens and everybody just kind of does their own style. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. I think that's another big personality turnoff for me. Is a I said that just now as if that's what I was talking about. But that's not all I'm talking about. This is a new topic. New topic is I feel like I approach most situations now. Like when I was younger, I certainly did not. I thought I knew everything like every young person does. Now I approach most situations where I'm like, dude, am I missing something? I gotta be missing something, especially when it just seems completely out of whack. Like, dude, I gotta be missing something. And then you investigate a little bit. Sometimes you are missing something, but then sometimes you aren't. But I think this isn't true. There's plenty of things that bother me more, but nothing bothers me more when people, they behave as if they already have all the answers. And they already know, and they don't behave as if their first thought is, well, I could be wrong about this. Which, I mean, you don't need to have that feeling that you could be wrong about something necessarily, but at least like be open to the possibility that you could be wrong. Like, well, I don't know that am completely right about this. So, does that make sense? Yeah, actually, Kevin, I have used those AC adapters before. I don't have one for this camera. It's not too big of a deal because you can use USB power. I just didn't bother. The camera, like the batteries last long enough that I just deal with the replacement. Speaking of lasting long enough, I'm going to stop soon and eat some lunch. And that'll probably be it for today. Oh, I'll say this. If anybody has any good recommendations for a solo, maybe 2-nighter video that I can do next week, somewhere within 6 hours driving distance from Indianapolis, let me know. Because I'm probably going to do that next week. Do a solo video. I like the solo videos a lot because I can film them, edit them, and get them out there in like 4 days. Like even including the filming part. Like the filming, it takes me like 3 days, and then maybe 5 days. And then I can edit it completely in 2 days. Like when you don't need to do narration and you're only working from one person's camera, like a big part of what makes an AA episode difficult to edit is that you're working with 2 cameras. And turning that to a cohesive video when it's 2 different people who's like not necessarily mapped perfectly one-to-one to the camera, but I'm usually doing the Steadicam, Andrew's usually doing the tripod, but I mean everybody's taking shots. So like even Brian and Thomas, they'll come up with shot ideas, and then we have all these different visions combined. But when I'm filming by myself, I literally think about, okay, what was the last shot I just did? And how can I film this next shot so that it goes seamlessly from the last one? Like that, I can do that a lot more easily when I'm filming by myself. You can do it too when you're filming as a group. It's just not as easy, and like you'll forget, or sometimes you just spray and pray. You film a bunch of different stuff and hope that you find a way to connect them all together. But yeah, that's something I really like about filming by myself, is that it's just a very linear process. I like linearity a lot. Just like in so many aspects, like it's really funny now that I think about it. I'm literally following a line in this game. And this is like, it's like somebody's massaging my brain. My brain is being massaged right now. It's like, yeah, just follow the line. Like cutting things on a line, like if you cut a piece of paper out, you're like cutting a square out of a piece of paper, and like this happens all the time when I ship stuff on eBay. I cut out the shipping label and it's like a little square in the white piece of paper. Oh man, it's so satisfying to cut right on that line, boy. Anyway, I like linearity. It's, you plan the trip, you go on the trip, you film in a linear fashion, you edit the video, it's linear, you don't have to edit out of order. You put in a song and you literally edit to the music. It's like crack for my brain, man. Editing video to music is like opening Christmas presents for me. I've said that 1,000,000 times, but let me just reiterate. Shooting video is satisfying in the sense that I'm like, oh, this is going to make for a great video. And I'm like, oh, this shot looks awesome. But it pales in comparison to the feeling that I get from editing video. I like that. By the law of averages, you have nothing to worry about, but you shouldn't be careless. I assume you're talking about when it comes to intelligence. Yeah, it's like, you're probably good. You're probably like in the top 50%. Hopefully. It's a coin flip. But you should still be trying to improve yourself. Shade State Park. I don't think I have been there. I have considered that, but do they have backpacking? I think they do. Is that the one that goes around the lake? It's like in the western side near past Plainfield. I'll look into Shades because that's a contender. Any idea why the Timberline Trail video is the most viewed video? It's the title and thumbnail. Title and thumbnail are king. The quality of the video, of course, matters, but it's third place. First place is thumbnail. Second place is title. Third place is content of the video. I mean, it's not exactly like that, but that's the order. You have to have the thumbnail to attract. You have to do the title that will get them to fully commit. And then you have to have the content to back it up once they're in. If you can get those three in tandem, you're golden. Like when our first Japan video took off, like that was our first big jump in subscribers. We were at like 20,000 subscribers and we went up to 50 just from the initial first Japan video. At first we thought it was like, oh dude, like why did our video channel suddenly get so much recognition and eyeballs and stuff? That was before we realized that it's just the algorithm. It's like the algorithm deciding what is a good video to put on people's homepages. And they use mostly just, are people clicking it or not? I mean, there's lots of factors, I'm sure, but I actually think with a good title and thumbnail, the algorithm does a pretty good job of floating videos that people will watch. Like even our AA episodes, I feel like that's our biggest problem is just titles and thumbnails. Like the quality of the videos are pretty good, but the titles and thumbnails have just never been up there with the way that the Timberline Trail videos. The Timberline Trail is this dude standing in front of a mountain and it's 40 miles alone on the Timberline Trail. If you're interested at all in mountains, trails, people being out alone in the wilderness, you're going to click that video. You're like, oh, this I got to see. And a lot of people clicked it. And then the video itself is just really like a nice, entertaining video to watch that's linear. It's like follows a very linear story. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is fun. At least that's my take on it. It's funny, though, when I made that video, after I finished it and I did the final watch through, I was like, wow, this video is really good. Like I said earlier, I am not somebody who doesn't like my own work. I am probably too infatuated with my own work. But until it gets old. Like once it's a couple years old, I'm like, this is terrible. But until that point, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like even the Timberline Trail video, I look at it now, I'm like, man, this could have been so much better. Look at all these shaky handheld shots. I could have done a way better job. Anyway, after I watched that, I was like, dude, this video is going to get 250,000 views. I'm calling it now. And now it's our most viewed video on the channel and the only one that has over 1 million. So that was just a lot of stars aligning, which is funny because that trip almost didn't happen. My grandma found out that I was going to be doing that, and she's like, "Oh, you got to promise me you won't do it that by yourself." And I know my grandma was like, I had to just tell her. I was like, "Okay, well, I'm just going to lie to you, Grandma." It's like, "Okay, I won't do it by myself." And I was almost thinking about not doing it because I was like, "Dude, is this a good idea to do this by myself?" And then one of our viewers, T. Bryce Ryan, he did it like a week before I did it. He's like, "Oh, dude, the trail's awesome. Weather conditions are great up there. Go for it." And I was like, "Okay, I'm doing it." And I did it, and it went great. I'm going to have to stop soon. My throat is getting sore from talking so much. See you, Mr. Ballack. Thank you for joining. Oh, okay, Garbanzo. I'll check out Shades then. Yeah, 21 miles long. That's like perfect. Oh yeah, the ending of the Timberline. Yeah, that I feel like that was the best I've ever done at displaying or actually capturing the emotion of how I felt in a video. Like just with the combination of the music and the way it built up to it and the way it ends. Like that was the relief I felt at the end of that was unbelievable. Because I don't think it came across well. It was really hard to capture how terrifying those stream crossings were. They don't look that bad in the video. They look just like little puddles. You're like, oh yeah, just step over it. No, dude, those were raging, terrifying waters that if you fell in, it would sweep you down, and also you'd like bust your head on a rock. It was very scary. And then that final one that I did in that morning that I was only really able to get it, I was almost completely out of batteries and everything, like my cell phone, my camera, everything. So I could barely capture anything. So a lot of that walk was not captured. But there's this particular shot of my cell phone, I'm like, those were huge boulders. Like I'm talking massive boulders, like this big, can you see that? This big, just tumbling down the water that I had just crossed. And I was like, that was absolutely not safe to cross that stream. I should not have crossed that stream, but I also really wanted to get out of there. So I think I got used to, okay, this is the last question. And also I'm going to do one more race and that's it. And I'm going to stop because my throat is definitely getting a little scratchy. You get used to filming yourself. I think mostly that if you have a very strong interest in video in the first place, that you really want to see how these shots are going to look, you will take the time to do it. At least that's my guess, because I like seeing how something turns out so much that's what pushed me over the edge. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so great. I'm gonna film this and then I'll cut to this and then do this cool shot and blah, blah, blah. And then it's gonna use this song. So that excited me enough that it just got over the pain of having to actually set up the tripod and camera and stuff, that I just stuck with it despite the pain of having to do that, you know? Man, I love this game. This is just so much fun, man. I've been playing this game for like 4 years now. It's still so satisfying. Although, admittedly, I just got the Blizzard Mountain DLC like a month ago. Let's end this one with a song, too. End it with a song, yeah. Oh, let's do first person, baby. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, so I think that'll do it for today. Thank you, everyone. Hold on, I gotta see something. Oh, I read the sign Ron at Shades, and it is 2.5 miles trail, not 21. This is okay. I'll find something. Let me. That's it for the gaming. Let me just answer the questions, and then I'm gonna go eat lunch and end the stream. Well, not in that order. Tony, thank you. Thank you for watching, man. Michio, thank you for joining right at the end. No, I'm playing on PC. This is the PC version. Yeah, based on where he's standing, he's playing on PC. That is true. And that was the Airbuster from Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a remake of Those Who Fight Further. Yeah, Chantel, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I was like, live streams are a great way. If you got comments or questions, come into the live streams when you can, of course. But yeah, you know, hold on, let me end this. Exit out of here real quick. That's the last topic I'll cover. Marie, you missed out. You missed out, Marie. I'm about to end. Okay. Wow, that is incredible quality. Look at that, man. Hold on, I got to see this in full screen. That's the answer to the vlog question. Like, how do you get, how do you get used to setting up shots and stuff? Is if you get this excited about just looking at video, you're like, oh yeah, look at that. Oh man, look at the depth of field and stuff. What happens if I get closer? Not too close. There it goes. Caught my eye right there. Yeah, I saw that. It was 2.5 miles an hour, 21. Oh yeah, it's just I don't think it's a good thing to ignore criticism, right? If somebody has criticism, especially if it's meaningful criticism, but also I there's certain things I do that I don't want criticism. And one of the things is like the things that I'm doing in my everyday life. I don't want the people who I don't even know and interact with telling me how I should be living my life, whether it's good or bad. Like if somebody's like, oh, I love that you do this, or I don't think you should do that. It just affects my psyche too much. And I think about it too much. So I kind of had to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I had to throw out all comments because I can't look at the good ones and I can't look at the bad ones. It makes me think, makes me too self-conscious. It makes me not even want to film because I'm like, I don't want to film this and then find out what people are going to say about it. I would just prefer to not know, really, which is weird. I mean, I don't know if that's actually justified for me to be able to say that because I am presenting all of this stuff out there. But it's like, also, that doesn't necessarily mean I have to listen to comments, you know? Like, I don't think that necessarily needs to be a two-way street. Live streams, on the other hand, that's super fun to be able to have that back and forth because it's more interactive. If I say something stupid and then you follow up, I can be like, okay, let me follow up. And you either say, oh yeah, that was stupid, or no, that wasn't. Otherwise, it just turns into somebody says something and then I can reply to it, but lots of stuff doesn't even need replies. Or they don't even justify replies. And then when they do, it's like, well, you don't know the full story, or you do know the full story and I feel stupid about that, or whatever. I think you guys got the picture on that a long time ago anyway, but no, I'm not reading comments. So if you've left a comment in the last month or two, I haven't read it. I have read a few on ones where I specifically asked for feedback, like on that 16 to 255 video with these lights over here. The only thing I can conclude is that the internet just doesn't know what it is, because I've yet to find anybody properly explain 16 to 255 video with super whites. There's a thing called super whites in these backgrounds. Right now I have it set so that it caps out, but it's a long explanation and I still haven't found as far as I'm concerned, I figured it out, but the internet doesn't seem to have figured it out. And it's very bizarre and everybody's overexposing their highlights. Like if you go to a Casey Neistat video, you download one of his videos, you put it in Premiere, and then you bring the whites down 30, you will see that all of his highlights are blown out because he's using the A7S III and he doesn't know about it. And you can do that on most people's A7S III footage. And it's really bizarre and I don't know what's going on. Why did I start talking about that? Anyways, I got to go, guys. I got to go. Thank you very much for joining. Let me check the last thing. Disabling comments, I feel like will cause more problems than not. Because if I disable comments, people are like, oh, well, I don't want to watch the video if I can't leave a comment. So I'd rather just leave it there, let people have the comments if they want to leave comments. And maybe one day I'll actually look at them. But not yet. Not yet. Some people like Little Pump and some people like Vampire Killer from Circle of the Moon on 1 hour repeat. Man, it's so true, man. I'm in the Vampire Killer camp because I've never even heard Little Pump, but I might like Little Pump. You never know. I listened to Starboy by The Weeknd yesterday and I was like, this is a great song, man. It starts off a little bit, but then it gets into real good. I like The Weeknd a lot, actually. All of his songs that I've heard, like Blinding Lights and I Feel It Coming. Man, those songs are so good. And the music videos are really funny and weird. They're good. Okay, I gotta go. Let me just check this. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. We'll do another stream sometime soon. Pizza stream in the next year. We'll do another pizza stream before the end of 2020. Thank you guys for watching.